Okay, so again, we're gonna go back to our Catapult project. So we have to learn how to go into our Google Drive. Go to your email first, click on your Rubik's Cube, right? And then click on Drive. And that's how you get there to your Google Drive. And then from there, you gotta find my folder because theoretically, you should have everything in my folder, right? If you didn't know how to, put stuff in the correct folder, you need to try and find it by title. But for you or for me, I always put it in my folder. So it's Choi Math 2 period 1 or whatever your other periods would be. Fourth and fifth period, I just want you to know that I'm recording in first period, okay? So don't get mad. All right, so there you go. I'm gonna go ahead and find my notes. That says my last name, first initial, and quadratic. Oh, not basics, but the catapult one, right? Catapult. There you go. So raise your hand if you don't have this with you and I need to send you my copy to you. Okay, let me pause for a second. Okay, so in order for you to go to the document, check your email, and when you see it, click on it, okay? And then when you click on it, you'll be able to go into this document right here, okay? And all you're gonna do, because you can only view, you cannot write here. I didn't give you that right, okay? So I see all these students up here. You guys are joining. See, Jesus, Ruben, Marine, you guys are all in here. Now what you're gonna do is go into File, okay? File, and click on Make a Copy. When you click on Make a Copy, what would it say? It will tell you to change the title. So go ahead and change the title to your last name, first initial, and then Catapult, okay? Your last name, first initial, and then Catapult, okay? And then click on OK. And when you click on OK, what happens is now you have created your own document, so you can go ahead and close mine out, okay? But once you do that, make sure you click on this folder next to the title, okay? And make sure it's in the correct folder. If not, you gotta make sure you move it, okay? Like over here, you gotta make sure you go into classroom and then Choi Math 2 period 1 or 4 or 5, okay? And then click on move because otherwise you won't be able to find it in the correct folder, okay? Now let's scroll down to page 3, okay? And the date we did this this project was on September 25th, so write that. And whatever your group name was, please go ahead and put that in, okay? And for me, I just had nothing, so I put Math Princess because this is my Twitter account, okay? I think it's Math Princess C or something like that. All right, so there you go. And I wanted you to go ahead and put your number in, and we already did this, right? Remember this? You had to put in how far the ball went, okay? And remember I had the numbers for Bang Bang? Bang Bang. I just wanted to let you know that if you're in that group, your numbers are kind of weird. So please take a look at your numbers again, okay? The range is supposed to be the bigger number, okay? And then the height was supposed to be the smaller number, okay? Unless you were throwing it completely wrong.
Miss Choi, are you recording and putting this on my clip at the end of the day?
Yes, okay? And so, but now I want to remind you, your numbers are not the same as my numbers. My numbers are the one that Mr. Josh gave me. Your numbers are the one that you actually measured. So find your numbers. If you are absent, then you can use this, but please make sure you type in somewhere that you are absent on the top so I know. Otherwise, I'm going to get mad at you. You should not have the same numbers like I do, okay?
Didn't you use our numbers?
I used Bang Bang, and Bang Bang's numbers were wrong. Because the smaller number is supposed to be the height, okay? So you see how the ranges are all supposed to be bigger, like in the 80s, 70s, or 90s, and the height is all supposed to be like in the 20s, 30s, or 40s.
So what are we supposed to use if our numbers are wrong?
Just do it though, it won't hurt. Okay, so now, shh. To find the average, what did you have to do? You gotta add all these 4 numbers, and then you have to divide by 4. So go ahead and do that with your numbers. You should be already done with that part. To find the k-value average, all you have to do is add these 4 numbers together and then divide by 4. And I got 43.75. You should get something else. And then what did I say? I told you to put the 71.25 over here, right? And then I said put this number over here, right? And so then I want to make a confession. Miss Choi was bad, okay? You're not supposed to put this value over here. You know why? Because this was how far the ball ended up when you threw it. That is not your vertex. Okay, remember yesterday's lesson when we had a parabola? Where is the vertex? If you start from the ground, okay, you started at 0 and you threw the ball and it ended at where? 71.25. So where's your vertex, the x value for the vertex? The middle point, right? So in order for you to put the vertex over here, you shouldn't put 71.25. You got to divide this number by 2. So when you do that, you're going to get 35.625. Okay? So that would be your vertex, okay? Your K value, the 43.75, like how high it was that you measured, the average you put there. Okay, as far as the 71.25 is concerned, it is how far the ball went, right? And so where it landed is obviously not the vertex because we all know, we drew it on the board yesterday, the vertex is the highest or the lowest point, right? Okay, so what is the x value for that? It has to be right smack in between the 0 and the 71.25. Remember that? We took notes on this yesterday. That's why you have to divide this by 2 in order to get this number here, and that's your vertex. Oh no, and then all of a sudden, you will notice, how many of you are copying my numbers because you lost yours? Raise your hand. Okay, so that's not good. Please come up with, try and find your own numbers. Why did we do the project if we're not going to use those numbers, right? Okay, so now let's go ahead and do the equation calculation, which is the exact same thing you did on the board. I didn't want you to complain to me that you can't learn because of technology, so I made you do it on the board first. Yay! So the origin is when the ball was on the catapult, okay? When the ball is on the catapult, how high was the ball from the ground?
Pretty high.
It was 0. I mean, it wasn't really 0, but we can still say that it was close to 0, like on the ground, right? And for the x-coordinate it means how far was the ball from the catapult? How far was the ball from the catapult in the beginning? Good job. It's a 0, okay? So your origin is at 0, 0, right? Now, what about the ending point? When the ball finally landed and then you measured it, okay? How far away was it? Well, that would be this number over here, the 71.25, okay? So I'm going to put 71.25. Well, when the ball landed on that side, okay, so for you, you're not copying 71.25. You're going to copy this number right here, whatever that number is, right? Okay. Now, when it landed over there, how high was it? When the ball was landed, finally when the ball landed from the catapult, how high was it? 0, right? The height was 0 because the highest point, you already measured it for the vertex, right? So when it finally landed on the ground, your height is at 0, okay? So then now it says what? Solve for A. Isn't that what we just did on the board? Yeah. Okay, so here is the standard equation for a vertex form, okay? So what you're going to do is, here's your x and y value, which is at 0, 0. So instead of y, I'm going to plug in 0, and 0 equals a, because I don't know a. And then in parentheses, instead of x, what am I plugging in? 0. So instead of x over here, I'm going to plug in 0. So I'm going to put 0 and then minus. Oh, guys, what do you think the h and the k is? The vertex. And the vertex is where? Oh, wow, here. Okay. So my h is 35.625. And my k is 43.75, okay?
How do you get 35?
How did I get that? Sweetie, were you paying attention?
Yeah.
I said you had to divide this number by 2 because the x value of the vertex is the whole distance divided by 2. Remember we talked about this yesterday? When we have two x-intercepts, the x value, okay, of the vertex is going to be half, okay? Right smack in the middle. Also, we gotta put squared over here. Remember that? So you have to put insert equation. Oh my goodness. And then the third one, the x to the b power. Okay. So then I'm just going to put my parentheses there and then press the right arrow button one time and you plug in the 2, right? And then make sure you press the arrow button twice. Okay. So there you go. Plus, and then I have to put the k. And the k is what? This one right here, 43.75. Okay, so now we're gonna do our work. And I know it's very difficult for you to do all your work over here, right? So I am totally okay with you doing work on your separate sheet of paper that you were using today morning for the board work, okay? And then I want you to tell me what A is equal to. And then here's another equation. You're gonna do the same thing. Instead of X, you plug in 71.25. Instead of Y, you plug in 0. Let me pause a little bit because this is like stuff you don't really have to see. Well, maybe I'll just do it right here. Okay, so 0 is equal to, okay, A times, and then I'm just going to go ahead and do the equation right now. The third one, x to the b power, so I'm going to put open parentheses, and then x is 71.25, okay, minus h was 35.625, close parentheses, squared, plus 43.75. Wow, that was a lot of work, okay? And so I'm going to do the same thing I did in class earlier, and then I'm going to go ahead and put my A. And once I find my A, I'll be able to find my final equation for the catapult trajectory, right? So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna pause my screen right here because I wanna give you time to solve this, okay? And I want you to tell me what your A is, okay? Ready? Go. Okay, so I'm gonna finish this right here because the bell just rang. We will finish up tomorrow. Okay, so thank you and have a great day.